Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast. My name is Andrew Hasley, and I'm here with Kevin Kimmell. And what is your business? Can you describe what you do in a few sentences?
Yeah, so I do graphic and web design. I started with graphic design and kind of branched out to web and social media work. And I'm now branching into web and creative direction. Or I'm sorry, brand direction and creative direction.
Well, I can't wait to explore that a little bit more with you and your business here in this episode. But first, I'm going to read the sponsor and the advertisement that we have for today, which is my video production company, Vehement Visuals. We produce videos for businesses. I actually want to advertise this advertising space too. It's not just for me to promote my business. I'm promoting my business kind of a way to show the value that having an ad at the beginning of the COS Business Podcast can have. And, I'm like, if I don't have any sponsors, I might as well be sponsoring the darn show myself. And, getting the word out about my company, Vehement Visuals. We've been doing some pretty amazing things here in town and constantly growing. So that's Vehement Visuals. And there's advertising space right here. If you'd like me to read a 15-second, 30-second ad about your business, promoting your business, or just, maybe even just freestyling something, like not rapping unless you want me to rap. But just promoting your business, and then we can work out a deal for that. As the show grows, the rates for that will grow, so you can lock in some pretty good deals right now if you go check it out. Don't have any Cyber Monday deals, but it's already a steal, so I didn't need to do that. All right, so that's the advertising space, or the advertisements for today on this episode 67, I believe, and I'm going to roll the intro music and we'll get started. This is a show where we have real conversations with entrepreneurs and business owners who are mostly in Colorado Springs, doing things in the community of Colorado Springs. What's up, man?
Hey, good to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So I meant to ask you, but I forgot to ask you before we recorded. How did you hear about the show?
I honestly just looked on Facebook and was looking at what other people in the business community here were doing, and saw COS Business Podcast. I thought, hey,
nice.
I'm from the Springs. Let's do it.
Nice. So you're from here, grew up here?
Yep. Born and raised.
Nice.
And my mom and dad were illustrator and photographer. I got hired at the Colorado Springs Gazette, and they moved here, and then started our family in this beautiful place.
Okay, so doing creative stuff is in your blood.
Yeah, pretty much. My whole family. I mean, even all my older brothers do creative work in some sense, and creation is totally in the whole family's blood. It's
and that's essentially what you when people say web design, it's creative. It sounds robotic, but
and plugging stuff in and making sure the website works and making sure all the links work, that's definitely a little bit robotic.
For sure. Well, I think coding is probably one of the most creative things you could ever do.
Certainly. There's so much you can do, and you have to come up with the ideas to be able to write the code to do it.
And it's like an advancement of the evolution of creativity, if you will.
Writing new languages. It's pretty wild. I've done a little bit of coding, and it's definitely out of my realm.
Yeah. So you do mostly the graphic design part of the websites.
Yeah. So that's what kind of my root comes from. I learned at Illustrator at 14, and just kind of progressed from there. Did a logo here, a logo there, and then realized, hey, I could provide more services and help people more if I learned web design and social media.
For sure.
I've taken the last 5-6 years to really dive into that world and learn how to operate anything from WordPress and the back end of WordPress, and how to build a website and make all the links work, and the robotic stuff, and then social media, what hashtags to use, how to research that, what hashtag not to use, what content to post and not to post, how to really create an authentic feel from the business owner's perspective through all that stuff. It's been really fun.
So overall branding is what you do.
Yeah. So basically I've learned all of the tools that you use in branding and built up to now I can do kind of full brand strategy. I don't do a lot of copywriting, but I go into kind of direction of, hey, I think this is what we should talk about. And kind of.
Do you know where to send someone to for the copywriting that they'll need, or do you have any referrals for that, or people you use?
I'm honestly kind of diving more into my business, and being on the podcast is kind of part of that. And
For sure.
Thus far, I've kind of dived into what businesses I can help on, doing construction or doing any other sort of extra stuff, networking, outreach stuff that they might need that I see I can help with. But I'm really kind of dialing back to focus on what I want to do, and that is creative direction and kind of branding and that world. So now that I've learned all the tools to do so, I can kind of hopefully move into more of a director position here soon and help brands and new businesses kind of move forward. So
when you go to create a website, do you sketch it out, or how do you go, or do you have certain like ideas that work that you know?
Yeah. So generally it's so much different with each client. It's always a new challenge to see what they want to use a website for, what you can suggest to them to use a website for. There's all kinds of extra things, customer sign-up forms, email lists that you can collect on there. So it serves a business in a way that I see, and I've learned many ways to do so. It serves a business in a way that can be beyond the visual presence. And, hey, I need a website. You think of home pages is about me and my contact info. That won't really serve you too much in the long term unless you build more onto it as far as media content, blogs, and then also the other utility kind of things like customer signups and email collection. And
for sure, lead gens.
Yeah, exactly, lead gens.
Yeah. I want to set up some. I have some lead gen stuff really in my mind a little bit, but like I could utilize building an email list, and I haven't yet.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of planning, and then also how do you put it out there without being too in your face about it, or like, give me your email. You have to provide some value back.
Definitely, and that is the strategy behind that, is like maybe creating an ebook or some knowledge. Rachel right here, she has a starter kit for passive income, and you just go to that link, and you put your email in, and like I've been studying it, Rachel, if you're watching this. Over like 2 weeks, she sends out four emails to you that just provide value.
Yeah, and, that's awesome.
And I got to check out the fourth one. I think I just got it yesterday. I haven't checked it out yet.
Okay. Nice.
But yeah, I'm studying. That's how I do it. I like go in and I reverse engineer it. I think, what's his name? Russell Brunson calls it funnel hacking, is where you go into things and you just see exactly what they did or something like that.
Yeah, and it's sometimes easy to copy. Say, hey, this is how they put it up. It took 30 seconds before it popped up on the homepage.
Yeah, exactly.
Even details like that.
Yeah, that is not a good. I mean, maybe it might have been a good move a few years ago, a good move, but having it pop up instantly when you land on the page, that's kind of like spammy, and you're probably gonna like turn people away from that, and you don't want to do that. Yeah. I think the good strategy is the exit intent pop up. So like if they're already leaving, might as well throw them a thing.
Hey, wait before you leave.
yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you're already gonna lose them anyways. What's the lose? What's the lose?
Yeah, you might as well say, wait, hold on.
Yeah. I got one more attempt to try to get you into my world and provide value to you.
Yeah. It's funny, and we talked a little bit about sales beforehand. I haven't really been too much of a salesman, and so it's just I've really taken clients by whoever I can help, and I go to networking events and see who's doing something impactful, and that's really where I've focused, is where I can make the most impact, and who I can partner with to help them, obviously with other parts of the business, but then who's doing the coolest stuff I can help move forward.
So how long have you been doing graphic design?
Yeah, so I mean, I learned at 14 and then did my first logo shortly after that.
Okay.
For Make You Dance Productions.
Okay,
so Marcel
nice.
Brown, if you're watching,
that's what's
shout
up.
out to Marcel. He gave me my first paid logo. So it was
nice.
After that, I was a big realization that hey, I could get paid for this stuff. I can help people do fun work and really use my creativity in a way that helps the world. You know, and so I realized at a very young age, at 14, and said, I'm going to do this for a living. And on top of that, I had awesome mentors, my family, and
you had creators around you too.
Yeah. My older brother is the one who showed me Illustrator and said,
nice.
Here's the pen tool, and here's the pencil tool, and here you go. And just kind of took off from there.
Yeah,
so.
I get wild on Photoshop.
Yeah.
I'm not so much avid in Illustrator, though, I have played. I use it for image trace sometimes.
Yeah, that's one of my main tools.
Tool,
Do the 16 color image trace.
Yeah, that's wild. You can convert some pretty, as long as the image isn't like horribly like bad, like too like choppy.
Yeah, that's the fun of it. You gotta find the right image and figure out which one works.
For sure.
But so yeah, I've messed around in Photoshop a little bit, and recently have been going toward learning animation. So
nice.
Stepped into Adobe, what is it?
After Effects,
and then also Adobe Animate.
Okay,
so
I haven't even played with Animate yet.
Yeah, it's funny. They're so similar. They're like kind of brother and sister.
For sure.
and you hop into After Effects, and it feels more like I've also done a little bit in Adobe Premiere recently, in editing a video and learning that. So After Effects feels a lot more like Premiere, where Adobe Animate feels a lot more like Adobe Illustrator. You can actually create.
Interesting. Yeah,
so
that's
you can
funny.
create simple shapes and do the animations more visually than you can in After Effects. After Effects, you apply the effect, and in Adobe Animate, you draw the effect or apply the effect in a more kind of visual way. So
interesting. I know. I know. With After Effects, some of the biggest blockbusters we see use After Effects for their visual effects. Like it's
motivating.
Yeah. And the things that you can do in After Effects is insane. If you really go that complex with it, like programming, it's programming is what it is. And I was explaining to someone else who runs a brand kind of company, and he does coding too. But I was explaining how like it's exactly coding, even down to like you actually can like code out like commands.
Yeah. I wrote like one math round something, math dot round in parentheses, the
wiggle
full-on code
or something. You can add a wiggle.
I was counting up a percentage for a client recently. They wanted a percentage animated from 0 to whatever percentage.
Interpolation.
So it was weird to write code within the creative program and in Adobe program. It was, it's incredible to see that bridge there, and like, okay.
And the camera tracking is insane in Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
I mean, not Premiere, but in After Effects. The camera tracking, like you can do multiple aspects, and like you can either take that information, that data that you collect, like you track this spot and you track it from here from 2 different parameters, and like you can take that information and you can either make a super like smooth camera shake fix, or you can add elements to that as well.
I've seen the shake fix with people dancing in a crowd. Yeah. Or it's like someone dancing and the camera goes with them. And the whole crowd is.
Oh, those are cool.
Them.
And what's cool is Premiere Pro actually added a feature recently on their most updated version where it's a tool actually where it's auto reframe tool.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, totally different probably.
I'm
still getting
well, they just added that into Premiere. It used to be something like you'd have to like use After Effects for, but they added a tool that just does it pretty quickly. As long as you just hit go actually, and it works pretty accurately most of the time.
That's pretty sweet.
And it can track them, and like Drake used that in one of his music videos actually. If you want to learn like some creative stuff for like video effects, like music videos is where people get really creative.
Yeah.
Like that's like the avant-garde of the video world, music videos.
It's free range.
Yeah.
You get to
It's a
explore
blank canvas.
their meaning of their song and illustrate that.
OK Go. You've heard of OK Go?
Yeah.
They've always been known for doing crazy video stunts in their videos. Like one of their stuff, they used a car to play their whole song. Like they created all the instruments. You know, like how like a music. What are those windy things? The music wheels, music
box.
Yeah. Well, it's just a wheel that has like certain prongs, and then those prongs spin and they pluck. They spin at a certain speed. So it's like they essentially did that with the car. Had the car go one steady speed the whole time, and then like they programmed like a whole like 2 miles or mile of like different kinds of like sounds and like pongs, drums, piano sounds. Like,
and using all 4 wheels of the car.
The wheels, the car had like different things coming off of it at different spots, and like know, and like they choreographed that whole video, and like you just drive through it, and they also add like other elements with the way they do videos too. But they're the ones who did the treadmill thing.
That was the original one. That was the craziest first video that they did.
And I think they aim to do that. To one of their videos they did, like when you fly I love like studying video stuff. That's why I have so much knowledge on this. You know, when you fly an airplane to a certain altitude and you drop, you feel weightlessness.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they shot one of their videos in the weightlessness stuff, and they had like only so much time to like choreograph everything.
Wow, you just do like sections of the song at a time.
I think I can't remember quite that one. I think that was one. But they've had some really cool ones.
Of like drumming in zero gravity would be a lot
different.
Yeah.
For sure. I didn't mean to go off on a little riff right there, but that was just a fun little tangent.
Yeah, it's super interesting what you can do to just be creative and show your business. And I mean, Go at the end of the day is a business, you know, and they can choose all kinds of different ways to show what they're doing.
For sure.
But to be able to stand out in that way, I applaud them. Really, it's amazing.
Yeah. It's really cool. And like, there's so many different types of music videos I could go on. Yeah. Kendrick Lamar, his music videos are really badass too.
Yeah. And it's so funny how low budget. I mean, flying a plane and going zero gravity would be pretty high budget.
Yeah.
But on the other side, like, just interesting effects or things that you can do in a music video particularly or any other video can be pretty low budget as far as like the real putting it together. You
the creativeness is where it comes.
The creativeness is where it really comes in. And so it's a lot of fun to, I mean, that's kind of my seat. I love to say this is what we should do. I think this metaphor would work for this idea.
Okay, interesting. So you could really go in there.
Yeah. And I've really stayed away from Fiverr or any of the just temporary, here's your logo and I'm done with you kind of work as a graphic designer, because I don't find a lot of value in it personally, where I can't continue helping them, and I can't really dive into who they are, what they're doing, what their favorite color is, and put that in the logo, you know, and even just simple stuff like that, where it's you understanding the business on a full ground level kind of way. You know, and so that's what's led me into helping businesses with other stuff. I say, okay, I see your service. You need help doing outreach. I'd be glad to go to a networking event and represent you. You know, it's good fun for me. I learn, and that's really been the root of my work, is learning and understanding new businesses, how they operate, and how the money moves within the business. It's so powerful to understand. I haven't. You know, it's not like I have my own business, but I do. I don't have a whole lot of cash flow in my business in a sense, like these other businesses that I'm talking about. But just to be able to
you're
understand
still pretty new, right?
So I'm really kind of diving in more recently. I've been building my portfolio up to this point, and so I'm now at a point where I have a valuable portfolio, can really reach out and say, hey, I can help you, and this is what I'm doing full time, and just kind of making it happen.
You want to plug into other businesses, essentially. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, kind of become a partner more than provide services.
Okay.
Know? And there's so much more value in that, where you can really understand what they're doing and help them. You know, if they can't format their email the right way, if they little details that matter in the end that make you look professional, that they might have a little issue with and not be able to really dial in. And so I like to become a partner in that way, where, hey, feel free to reach out for maybe anything you need, and it's led me to the right people.
Okay.
When I approach someone with that attitude, sometimes they're like, ooh, I don't want to partner with you. I just need a logo. I'm glad to serve those people. Sometimes I do help them and move on. And there's always short-term projects, but I always aim for the long-term projects. And when I approach someone and they're receptive to a long-term plan, okay, let's figure out what we can do together.
What does a long-term project look like, or a long-term plan?
More than, I don't know, 3 to 6 months. More than that would be. It's awesome to, especially now that social media and ongoing media presence is more and more important for any business now. It's fun for me to offer, say, a low monthly social media plan where it's only a couple $100 a month. They don't feel a lot of pressure. I don't feel a lot of pressure to put out a ton of content, but I can keep a good media presence for them that serves them in the long term. That if someone comes to look, what is this business doing? They can see that they've been putting out content consistently. And so, on top of that, just being able to do, I've got a few blog to book plans, some more comprehensive media strategies that I'm just now starting on and being able to implement those. And so, just kind of taking my services to a level of direction and partnering with people that want the long-term direction.
Mm-hmm.
So a year-long relationship. Hey, here's everything you need, and then from there they have all the
Mm-hmm.
PDFs and everything they might need.
So the first few months, you're building a foundation.
Yeah. So you start with, depending on where they're at, some businesses already have a logo and already have some things established, but you always establish the kind of visual presence. Okay, what's it going to look like? And then you establish kind of a language presence, a tone for your business. How do you want to present yourself through words and through speech? A lot of times, training your employees or training your partners on this is what we need to say we're doing.
Building a solid brand.
Yeah, and that's really beyond the visuals. There's so much more work to do. And I mean, I'm working with a guy who's a transformational speaker. He's really awesome. You met with him the other day.
Was it great?
Yeah, I just forgot. Yeah,
nice.
I forgot to mention it before we. Greg Williams. So I'm helping him with his visuals.
Okay.
And really, God, I can't believe I forgot to mention that.
That's awesome.
So funny. So I met with him last night, and we're trying to figure out. It was so funny. We dove into what capitals are in his name and how that looks through everything else. Of course, it's spelled the same way, but how does it look? On the post head, on the postcard, on the letterhead, on the email. How does Greg appear on?
You
on
want
paper?
that to be consistent across every form.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it takes a lot of work to dial in, not only what the initial logo and that kind of the visual presence, but then what do you say you do? What topics will you talk about? What does your brand actually do? It comes down to a lot more speech and language direction. And so the last 2 or 3 years for me has been a lot more creative direction through language and figuring out how to describe what someone's doing through words. And
did that Latin course help out?
Oh yeah,
that?
definitely,
Nice.
definitely. I was the 1 year in high school of Latin. I took it because my best friend was taking it and said, I'm going to do it with you. So it was a funny course, and I learned a lot. I mean, and going into medical, I've worked with. The last 2 years, I've been working with a company called Additive Care that's doing 3D printing for healthcare, and so basically bridging the gap between doctors and the tools for 3D printing. So I've been helping them for 2 or 3 years just direct their brand, figure out how to say what they're doing. It's super complicated, and so
For sure.
how do you use 3D printing in healthcare to present that to someone who might have little knowledge of real healthcare practices or what that the workflow within a healthcare clinic looks like. I had to, educate myself on all that and figure out, the 5 different types of 3D printers we're using and really learn all this stuff. So, I mean, understanding language is one thing, and then putting it out in a way that is beneficial and helps in layman's terms, I guess. Putting it out in layman's terms is always a huge challenge, no matter if it's 3D printing or if you're a realtor, if you want to, it's all, there's some industries that have a little more guidelines like realty, but it's always important to focus on the language of a brand and kind of guide that, and then all carries over to the website. The website has so much copy. It's all copy and photos.
For sure, yeah. And video if you're doing it right.
Yes, if you're doing it right. Exactly. So you have a video background here and there, and that's always fun to implement. So.
For sure. Not even just a video background, but a powerful video message.
Yeah.
Because you can engage people longer on your website, and video has proven to keep people longer on your website, and that also just helps with SEO. If people are not only going to the website but being on there longer, Google sees that.
The minute longer that they're watching that video, that helps a lot, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't even consider that.
That's just really one little thing that why video is so important.
Yeah. See, I mean, I'm still learning.
Oh yeah,
every day.
Well, this is what I specialize in. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah. So I mean, it's it's been a fun journey to figure out how to direct things and
anything you'd like to promote today specifically?
I just started working for an agency called PSP Solutions.
Okay.
And so it's pspsolutions.com is our website if you want to check it out, and it's basically general digital marketing services, and we're growing and taking on new clients. So that's been honestly my dream job come true.
Nice.
As a web developer.
Sure.
My first real legitimate contract. I've had the partnerships with individuals and entrepreneurs and small businesses, but this is a real agency.
So this is like an agency that subcontracted you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm on a part-time contract right now, but then going forward, I'd like to grow with them and
For sure.
go into the creative director and finally fulfill my dream of being a creative director.
That's
So
awesome. You're working. You're making the steps, man.
Yeah, it's been a long road to figure out, even to put myself in a position to be valuable within an agency. It took the last 5 or 6 years learning web design, and then on top of that, the last 10 years of graphic design. So it's super rewarding if there's any young people listening out there, it's just keep working hard.
Yeah.
I've achieved weird, odd, awesome dreams that I never thought would come true. That, one of them was working in the cannabis industry in 2015. I was in Denver and I was in school and I got a full-time job offer.
Yeah.
And I dropped out for the industry. And so the craziest thing I've ever done, but also has led me to way more learning and understanding of business and cash flow in business. It's a very, very, basic, you grow it, you sell it, do whatever. And to see that on a business level is really interesting. And I had the full-time offer. I said, yeah, this is an exploding industry. Let's do it. And so it was a dream of mine to when I was younger. I said, I want to be in the cannabis industry. I want to be a creative director in there, and it happened. I didn't think in manifestation and meditation and bringing things to your life. I totally believe in all of that.
Same here. Yeah.
It's so awesome to be able to use that as a tool to move forward in your life, and it's what comes along with that is the hard work and showing up every day. We were just saying before the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a long road to get here,
and also, taking some time for yourself too as well.
For sure.
Showing up every day, yes, I do, but also some days are more relaxed because I gotta realign my mind.
Exactly. I take at least an hour every morning.
Yeah, that's good.
If to just meditate and take time for myself, even just dive into social media and let myself go there for a little while, and that has served me in ways that I couldn't even put into words. Just to take your own time, and then of course the weekends I go mountain biking and
nice. I got to get a mountain bike, man. I have to.
Oh, we'll have to go, man. I know some good trails. So.
I think I'm gonna get one soon, like real fast.
Yeah, next summer, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, can you can do it in the winter?
Yeah, if you bundle up. I thought about going out yesterday, and I saw some guys on a road bike, and they were full.
For sure.
Only eyes exposed.
Yeah, that wind will get cold.
So, a little less riding during the wintertime, but totally
for sure.
possible.
Definitely, maybe even more of a challenge, and sometimes that can be more fun.
Watch for ice patches on the trail.
That's scary. Yes, I didn't even think of that. It's already bad enough without the ice.
Yeah. I definitely, last year I was anxious to get back out and get on it. So anyway, so I love to, that's a really good point you bring up. It's awesome to be able to take time for yourself, and it's you can't glorify overworking. We've been doing that for a long time, and I even am guilty of it on social media. If you look back 2 or 3 years, on no weekends, but that is also what it has taken. So if you're driven and you're passionate and it doesn't feel like work, then go for it. Just make sure you
for sure
out right. It's such a balance. Keep yourself in balance. So.
I 100% agree. Well, it was great having you on the show, man.
Yeah, good being here, man.
It's
been incredible, awesome to be on my first podcast. It's
nice.
My first ever, so hopefully
and it's also,
for so many.
It's going to be your best podcast ever. No, I'm just kidding. always growing, always growing. But it was a good one for being the first one, though. So I'm glad you came here.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean to say that it's to my own horn. There's a lot of work that goes into this podcast. So I'm glad this was your
setup
first one.
you have, man. And I can't thank you enough for getting this all together and having me here and putting this on. You were just saying how you dove head first in about a year ago now, and
almost 2 years ago now.
Oh, 2 years ago. I'm sorry. Yeah. And it's just, it's
Year and a half.
inspiring.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
inspiring
thank you,
for
man.
me
Thank you.
to see someone else diving in, you know.
Yeah,
and it's so much
completely
fun.
diving. It was, yeah, dove off the deep end.
Yeah. That's what you got to do though, man. And
On a
it's-
high
it's
dive that I
awesome.
never been on before, and I was like looking over, and I'm like, I don't know if I should do this, but I
But
did.
here you are.
Yeah,
You
I'm
jumped
swimming.
in with
I'm
a
swimming.
beautiful no splash dive.
For sure. Well, I'm sure that camera, it shuts up at 30 minutes. I know that's
Okay.
about to hit 30 minutes, so that one's probably off. Well, yeah, man, like I said, great to have you on the show.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye-bye.